morning and welcome to Shamanic Sundays. Here we are again.
Oh,
How are you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good.
Okay.
Glad to be alive.
Good. And how are you feeling out there? Let us know how you're doing, where you're joining us from. And thank you for being here today in the spirit of sacred reciprocity. We always like to start off with a morning prayer. So, prayer of gratitude. Dad, do you want to get us going?
Well, what gets us going is the Great Spirit's breath flowing into us. So thank you, Great Spirit, for creating this universe and this beautiful Mother Earth that we're gifted to walk our life paths on, and gifts of creation. Thank you for this day, our ancestors. We remember you here, make a home for you here, ancestor spirits of the land we're living on, Chumash people, Grandfather Simu. Thank you for our families, our communities, and the opportunities you give us in these challenging times to wake up and remember the truth of who and what we are and why we're here, and to reconnect our awareness consciously to infinite unity, infinite love, infinite light, and the wisdom guidance available to us about how to use the challenges and what they trigger in us to show up, to do our part, to open the doorway, to help heal the sacred hoop. And may our joining here today contribute to that healing for us and for all our relations in the world in which we're all connected. Ho, Prios.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. A world we're all connected. We sure are. That is the basis of a lot of what we talk about here. And this week we got a question from Melinda in San Diego. Melinda, thank you for sending in your note there. Hey, Frank in Florida, and Roger up in Marin. Thank you all for being here. And I'm guessing that we have a friend, our family mama, Lady B, on here with us with Frank. So shout out to you there, Lady B.
Hey, ho.
And yes, so where I was going is we got a question from Melinda in San Diego. And she asked, how can we use shamanic principles to address the concept of it's not fair? And I remember hearing once, I don't remember where the quote came from, probably actually a lot of people have said this, but that the three words in the world that have caused the most pain ever, the most suffering ever, are it's not fair. And I thought that was a great quote, because it kind of just gets right to the root of like, yeah, and so what? Here you are, now what? What are you going to do with that? So what does comprise mean? Comprise is like what makes up the pieces that make something up, that the ingredients that make something up. So I don't remember how I just used that word, but I saw that question. I hope I answered that sufficiently. Yeah, so it's not fair. Possibly the three words in the world that have caused the most suffering. How can we bring through? How can we use shamanic principles when those thoughts and feelings come up?
Okay.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Well, it's not fair. Just sitting with those words and the meaning. It's not fair. What that assumes is there's a human being in that equation with a subjective evaluation based on an ego identification and its desires of what it wants. That's different than the way the universe is showing up in a particular moment that leads to the judgment. It's not fair. So just opening our awareness to recognizing that truth. Where does that notion of what's fair and what's not fair, that can differ for 100 different people, can all have different ideas about what's fair and what's not fair, and the steps to take to address what they deem as unfair. So just recognizing and holding that understanding of the dynamics there, that my ego is judging a situation and it's not what I want it to be. and I want it to be different. And so I'm in resistance to the manifestation of the universe in right now, however it's manifesting for me, my body, my mind, in the field. It's not fair. Where is that judgment coming from? And it presupposes that I, in my ego identity and in my rational mind, know what's truly for fullest blossoming, greatest good of everyone involved in the situation that I'm judging is not fair. So that's a pretty big assumption in the face of the mystery and the fact that 95% of what's happening in the universe, we have no clue about what it is. So that's respect for mystery. When I'm uptight or frustrated or angry or in despair or depression or reactivity about what I deem is not fair, then number one, I'm suffering. I'm suffering, and so what's the roots of my suffering? It's not what's happening; it's my interpretation of it, and my story that I tell myself about it that's creating my suffering based on that ego identity. So just some of the dynamics of the suffering that comes from the judgment. It's not fair. But we're multidimensional beings, and so it's important to recognize the fullness of our being. And so when we're having an experience of judgment, of something going on that's not fair, like the violent hurting of innocent people, violent hurting of innocent people taking place all around the world, and who knows, maybe took place in our own lives or taking place right in our own lives right now. And in fact, I think we commit violence when we identify ourselves totally as separate objects, our ego identity and our physical body, because we're going against the wisdom of the universe, in which everything's connected and there is no such thing as a separate thing. But nevertheless, having a human experience, we're souls having a human experience. And so part of the human experience is our feelings that alert us to paying attention to something that doesn't feel good, doesn't feel right. And so innocent people, me being hurt, is to me, I don't like that. I wish it was different. I wish the world was different and there's innocent people. So my judgment is it's not fair that people who haven't done anything to anyone else are being hurt by bombs being dropped on them, women, children, old people, babies, women being raped or violated or oppressed in some way, people of color, people of different sexual orientations and expressions and looks and this, that, and the other thing. We're all part of the same unity of cosmic creation, of oneness, of deeper being, all connected. So,
can I interrupt for a second? Would you like a sip of some juice?
Yeah.
It sounds like you got a little frog in your throat.
I do.
And with that, we encourage each of you to do what you need to do to take care of yourself while you're listening to.
And thank you for that
conversation this morning. If you want to be stretching while you're joining us. And also, Dad, will you just explain again for those folks that are joining us for the first time why you often have your eyes closed while you're doing this?
Right.
Thank you.
Because I have macular degeneration. Open my eyes to say that, which means the retinal cells in my eyes are slowly dying away, going into oblivion, not working, saying no ma. So
it's the great mystery. That sounds a little better than oblivion.
So it's, well, for them it's oblivion. It creates a strain in my eyes. I take medication for it, which has side effects, which makes me tired sometimes. But the whatever's happening in the eyes energetically, it's taking a lot of energy, so it makes my eyes really tired and feel heavy. And so to rest my eyes, I just close my eyes a lot and feel more ease with my eyes closed. And also that dissolves any perceptions of separation and helps me open my awareness to what's always there, the interconnectivity of all of our being and all of cosmic creation. So going back to what I was trying to talk about, those feelings of injustice, of what's not fair, that however I experience that in whatever context, in whatever framework, it's like a little signal going off saying, hey, pay attention. There's something here important for you to pay attention to. Number one, pay attention to how you're causing suffering in your own experience by what you're pushing, the thoughts you're putting your attention into, but also simultaneously, it's a both and universe. It's not an either or universe. It's a both and universe. There is innocent people and injustice in the world that, as far as I'm concerned, is I'm not okay with, I don't like. And so then what can I do to change the causative factors that produce that violence and hurtful behavior toward others that is perceived different. And part of the work is inner, seeing the illusion, busting the illusion of separation, to recognize our interconnectedness. And that what I judge in another, whatever it is, and then I'm also judging inside of myself. And so that judgment causes heart constriction, and there's more suffering for myself. So working on our own consciousness to free ourselves up from that which constricts our heart and constricts our soul expression and our creativity. And then to take responsibility for the fact that we're not here by accident. The creative power of the universe gives us this life with purpose, and all of us with gifts. That's our responsibility in the waking up process to discover, reconnect our awareness to what those gifts are, and then do what we can to nurture those gifts to fullest blossoming. ¿Por qué? Why? To give back to our tribe, to give back to the people, give back to the earth, to the animals, to nature, to spirit. Gratitude and using those gifts that we're given to serve life, to help protect life, to help heal life, to help polish up the stardust for all of us for fullest blossoming, greatest good, creating the kind of world we're capable of creating, a win-win world for all. And in the context of it's not fair, today prayers are being called for. Take another shot of this. Prios, water spirit, fruit spirits. So, prayer day for the parole hearing that's taking place tomorrow morning for Leonard Peltier, who was in prison 48 years ago in the Wounded Knee uprising, where FBI agent and one or two was killed, and the blame of that was pinned on Leonard. And there's some pretty good evidence that he was innocent, but nevertheless he was a scapegoat, and has been denied for 48 years. And he's old now. I think he's about my age. He's going to be 80 this year. And he's dealing with health issues, and he comes up for parole tomorrow. So the parole board will be making a decision. So honoring the lives of all of those who were lost at Wounded Knee, the FBI agents and others, not taking away the value of any of the lives that are lost. Prayers for Leonard for justice to be served, and for him to be able to live out, be paroled, and be able to live out whatever time he has with his grandchildren, with his family, and be able to go into his death time with his family around him. So I ask for prayers for any of you that might feel moved in the righteousness of Leonard's case for justice, to make right what doesn't feel right. Appreciate those prayers. All right. Hope I answered your question.
Yeah. I mean, that fits in. So just the theme of today of it's not fair, and there's so many examples of that. So yeah, on a daily basis, the little infractions, if you will, the weekly, the monthly, the yearly, the life of different situations we're born into, and also the gratitude for all of the things that go right, and finding that dance and balance of living in gratitude, so you can appreciate what you do have, and dealing with this it's not fair feeling experience. So guessing that each of us is going to have at least one little moment of that coming up in the coming week. And we always like to do a visualization of I imagine it's like you're like, going through your day, you're doing your walking, talking, moving forward, doing your thing. And then all of a sudden you hit a wall and something comes up, some, feeling in your heart or your mind of it's not fair, and you're up against that wall. So if you could take us into that moment in the coming week or weeks or whenever you next hit that feeling, hit that wall, if you could guide us in a visualization of you're at the wall and then what?
Well, so let's go. We just hit the wall.
Okay.
Just jumping inside, using the power of our instrumentality of our mind to create an image. In other words, to use our imagination, create an image in our inner mind of just having hit that wall of a situation that triggers that evaluation and the feelings that go along with it of this is not fair. This is not fair. So first, just to notice what you're experiencing in your body. Just noticing what you're experiencing in your body. And I don't know about you, but for me, when I've experienced something that's not fair, then it triggers a response, an involuntary response where I constrict. You need an immediate response is I constrict. Something's not fair. I've got to try to do something to right it. So I'm pulling up energy in response to some negative energy or that's causing things to not be fair. So there's a constriction in my body. There's a tightening in my body. And if I pay attention to that constriction and tightening, then I also notice that causes an inflammation in my body. And we know prolonged inflammation is a primary cause of breakdown of well-being and health into illness and disease. That tension, that sustained tension, wears down the defense mechanisms that are working to promote homeostasis and balance and health and high-level wellness. And just the stressors continue too long without a release, the system starts breaking down. So noticing what's happening in your body based on the idea that we don't have power to change anything that we don't face the truth of. And the truth is my body's tense, my body's constricted, I'm inflamed, and so noticing that and bringing awareness to breath, two of the gifts of being alive is we have our awareness, and we can bring our awareness to the fact that we have our life because we're being breathed, which is where we started our prayer, gratitude to the Great Spirit for this breath of life. And noticing when the breath comes in, that it comes in totally clean. Doesn't come in with tension, doesn't come in with judgment, doesn't come in with tightness. It just comes in totally clean. It's a wave of energy, of life force that comes in totally 100% pure and clean from the source of the universe, creator, Great Spirit. So I can open up to receive that gift of life and the light and love and the peace and the healing and the wisdom, power, intelligence it is, because it's coming from the creative power of the universe flowing into me, and I can let it move. We can let that energy move through our bodies, through our energy bodies, through our physical bodies, and noticing those places of constriction and tightness and inflammation. We can just breathe into those places and soften, and begin to release as we breathe into those places and we breathe out from those places of constriction and inflammation and rigidity and hardness. They begin to soften. They just begin to soften. And so with the breath out, we can release some of that energy that doesn't serve our life, gets in the way, clogs up the pipes, gets us constipated, closes the heart, suffering. And we can also, with the releasing and letting go of some of that energy, inducing our innate ability to experience deeper and deeper relaxation with each breath leaving our bodies. with the releasing of constriction and inflammation and the softening, there's an opening to be able to receive wisdom guidance if we seek it, to the question of how can I create a response to this situation and my story about the situation that's creating my suffering. How might I be able to create a response to this? It helps me grow in the ways I want to grow, the ways of consciousness and being that I want to have grow stronger. And this is an opportunity. What I'm perceiving as a problem through my ego identification and its attachments as a problem is in fact an opportunity to wake up and wise up and pull a plug on the old identity and open up, expand into conscious connection with who and what I truly am, and be juiced, polished up by that awareness flowing through me. And then I can open to gratitude for being alive, for having awareness to feel what I'm feeling, and to be able to wake up and remember the truth of who and what I am, that the essence of my being is love, and my love is forgiving and receiving. To wake up, remember, and to live love now. And this is the only time I can do it. So gratitude for what I'm experiencing right now, and for this gift of awareness, this gift of consciousness, helping us to differentiate consciousness, awareness, from the contents, momentary contents, thoughts, feelings, sensations of consciousness and awareness. And we are on the deepest level of our beings, not the contents of the consciousness, but consciousness itself, at one with infinite cosmic consciousness. And the nature of that is cosmic love, aloha, and alaha, sacred unity. And this is the way that we can begin to enlighten ourselves, wake up and bring more light and healing love and transformational power of love into our beings and our days, and meet the challenges, not from that place of constriction, of fear and reactivity, but from the place of deep inner peace, deep connected inner peace, and with open hearts and attunement to the wisdom guidance about how to create responses to the causative factors of the hurt and violence and injustice and suffering in the world in ways that truly does bring about fullest blossoming, greatest good. So with gratitude for your life, for the blessings you are, the medicine you carry, and with support for taking good care of yourselves, polishing up your stardust so you can shine, we can all shine brighter the truth of who we are, what we are, why we're here, and get on with creating the kind of world we're capable of creating. May it be so. Oh.
Thank you. For some reason, that maybe you guys will be able, you listening or watching will figure out where this came from. But at some point in your sharing, I thought of so the teapot at my sister and brother-in-law's house broke, and then they got this new one as a gift that's like beautiful, and it's designed by some famous designer, and it's really slow. It heats up really slowly, and when you tip it to pour, it pours really slowly. And the first couple of weeks that I was using that teapot, every time I was there, I was so annoyed by that slow damn teapot. and then I realized, oh, tea, going back to tea and ceremony and breath, and what a great reminder to just be able to sit here and take some deep breaths, and what an incredible gift. Or, do some stretching as that teapot is heating up. And so now I really like that teapot.
It's a medicine pot teapot.
Yeah.
It's a medicine pot because it's bringing that message in our speed society to slow down.
Yep.
Slow down.
Yeah. And I am sure that the designer intended that. I think of like the Japanese tea ceremony, right?
Yeah, you don't rush through that.
No. So I'm sure it was very intentional. So my apologies to the designer of that teapot, and now my gratitude to you. And Yeah. Thanks again for being here. Anything else you want to share?
Yeah. Gratitude to that teapot, the coyote teapot that brings the medicine through your experience to all of us.
Yeah.
And free Leonard. May Leonard be freed. And may we all be free. May all beings be happy. May all beings be safe. May all beings everywhere be free from fear, from prejudice, from greed, from ignorance and arrogance. And may all beings open consciously to attune, connect, and commune with the truth of who and what we are. Beautiful, sacred, luminous beings of light and love. May it be so. Oh,
may it be so. Thank you all. See you next week. Please do share with your friends and family, anyone who you think might benefit from these Shamanic Sundays gatherings. And thanks again, Dad, for all you've done and all you do.
Thank you.
Okay.
Oh.
We'll see you guys soon.